What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Turner Boys podcast. Unfortunately, today we do not have my brother or my dad, but we have someone much better. Originally, I like to introduce my guest with a little description. He is a designer, entrepreneur, and a man with a vision. Jackson Sauder, everyone. All right.
Man.
So, Jackson, to start off the conversation, I guess anyone who doesn't know about what you're doing right now, I guess, can you give a little description?
Yeah. Basically, I'm just like a fashion designer and graphic designer, and I kind of just go all over the place. I do a little bit of music here and there, like working on it. I like to direct a lot of stuff. If you could classify what I do, I'm just a creative director.
Okay, sweet.
That's the easiest way to put it, because I put on a lot of hats.
Yeah, how did you start getting into all this? Like, what, I guess, sparked that creative sense?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's wild because from as a little kid, I drew like a lot, and
yeah,
that was the catalyst. But I actually had a teacher tell me, she's like, "Hey, you don't listen to rules really good," so she's like, "You're not gonna be really good." And like, as a little kid, you're not gonna take that very well. So I just for like 5 years, I didn't touch a pen or pencil and never like drew anything.
Okay.
And my mom gave me like an ultimatum in middle school, and she said, you can either do, drama or art. And I was like, I ain't doing drama. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I chose art, and I was stuck in a classroom for at least 2 hours every Wednesday. And from there, it kind of just fueled stuff. And I guess what made it fun was I started winning competitions, and when you win, you just want to keep winning.
Yeah.
So,
wait, what were the competitions for?
Yeah, like so there would be like these like competitions by Scholastics or whatever.
Okay.
And like they're huge competitions within like Florida or all over the world or whatever, and all over the country. And so I was winning like gold, silver, and like all these honorable mentions or whatever. So for me, that kind of just took over. I was like, this is really fun if you can win, because I'm a sports type of guy.
Yeah.
So I got that competitive drive. I always want to win something.
All right, sweet.
That's what made it come alive. But yeah.
You were a creative guy, but did you ever go into sports? Like, were you ever playing sports while in school or no?
Yeah, I actually played sports more than I probably did art.
Okay.
So I played football for a little bit. I played basketball basketball is my primary sport.
Yeah.
I did that from 6th grade all the way till maybe 11th.
Uh-huh.
And then my senior year is when I kind of started to take art more seriously, because I was looking for an excuse to get out of college classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that your parents fueled your kind of desire to do creative things, or were they more on the path of like go to school, be on a regular route?
I think my parents just pushed me to do the best at whatever I've been given. Like, whatever God's given you, you take and you run with it, right? So from an early age, whatever I do, they want me to go all in. So, and to kind of try to figure it out yourself. It's not like the mentality where they hand you everything.
Yeah.
Even like my grandparents, like they, like I've never really been given stuff. So like people, my family pushes me to figure it out. So as a creative, that helps, right? Where you're trying to figure out how to make the next move, how to do this, how to do that. And that's what allows me to put on all these different hats, because I get to figure it out and try to do something. But my parents have definitely helped a lot by building that mentality. So
sweet. And if you were to say, other than fashion designing, like what is your next best thing? Like, what would you go into if you didn't have fashion?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't consider myself like a fashion designer, which is real fun, because I just think I'm just creative.
Yeah. Well, that's what the owner of the 100 says. He literally says, like, I don't ever consider myself a fashion designer. I'm just like an artist. Like,
yeah. And I think when you think of it like right there, then you can't really end. Like, it's never gonna be done, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird, because I know the fashion could one day just be like, it's done. We're kaput.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing ever happens, right? Or something else takes off. But I mean, to be honest, like I could create all day. I don't know. I don't care what it is, whatever I can, give input on. Even if I'm just in a room with a bunch of people and I just get to talk and describe my visions to the world, like that's cool with me. So
sweet.
I don't even need a pencil in hand.
Okay. In order to be in your field, of like being a fashion designer, an artist, or any creative design, do you think you need a specific sort of skill? Like, do you think you need a certain sort of your brain that works in different ways than maybe the average person?
I think so. My brand, our mission is, there's a creating in all of us. So everybody can create, right? When you look into your closet every morning, you're like, yo, what am I going to wear, right? Everybody has that first thing, like, what am I going to do today? And that's creating. Like, no matter, everybody associates creativity with like a design, right? But it can be a simple task that allows you to do something different with your day or what you're doing. And so, I don't know. I think, honestly, I think it's weird. I don't know. Like,
I love it. No, the fact that you classify it still as like an art is great. Like, to me, being a creator is much more than what we see on a notebook or with a pencil and paper, whatever it is. But for you, on an average day, like when you look in your closet, what do you think about when you're going to pick out your clothes? Like, what would be an average thought that goes through your mind as a fashion designer on like an outfit you're picking?
So the thing is, like, I know a lot of people are into like the Gucci's or like the Supreme or Mad Happy or stuff like that. And it's funny because, like, I haven't been to a mall in like 3 years to like shop.
Okay.
So it's like, for me, like, my mindset is just like, I'm going to a thrift shop like right across my street, and I'm gonna find something that somebody else doesn't like. Because it's this whole idea of we can't let go of the nostalgic taste that was before us, and we don't want to move to the future too quick. Everybody's real crazy about change, right? But we still don't want to change as a culture. That's why we go backward. And so when you think of fashion like that, you can take little pieces from, I don't know, the 80s, the 70s, 50s, whatever you want to do, and you can still make it work. So when I look in my closet, I think most of my stuff, like, I'm wearing like a double XL, like, freaking jean jacket or whatever. And it's like, I found it at the thrift shop for like $2. But for me, that was like, that's a gem. I'm going to take this. I'm not even a double XL, but it looks comfortable. And that's kind of how I see style. It's just comfortable. Would I look good in it? Would somebody else kind of appreciate it in some type of degree? But I just kind of just go for it. I wing it a lot.
Okay. So moving into your brand a little more, when it involving like the designs of each of your clothing, what do you necessarily look at? Like, I know for some of your clothes, they have your slogan on it. Some of the clothes, it's just a completely different phrase. So like, what kind of came in your head when you were developing all of it?
So I think, like you said, well, the first question that you asked was, like, how do you come up, like, do you need an actual skill, right, to be a designer? I think the most important one is probably listening to conversation, which is wild, because like all of the stuff that I've made so far has been off the conversation. So it's none of it is like, oh, it's my own thought, because there's no such thing as like being truly original. Like, nothing is new under the sun. Everybody knows. There's a lot of copy and paste, right? But I think, and that's not bad either. Like, I think if you take something from somebody, you're technically copy and pasting. So like, I heard like one conversation from one of my dudes, and they're like, paradise is like, I really want to go somewhere because it's like paradise. And I was like, oh, like that stemmed something. And it was like, paradise is a lucky place to be, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then from there, I took like a pair of dice, right? And then I go back to like a biblical standpoint, because a lot of the stuff I do is like grounded in religion.
Yeah.
And so like, if you look at, that's a super old design, but there was like 3 and then 4, and those numbers totaled up to 7, right? And that's 7 days of creation. And then those 7 days, humanity was made, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, we lost that as a generation. And so it was something super awesome to have, right? It was a lucky place to be, but we lost it. And so it's like we roll the dice with our humanity. And I think like it was just off of one word, like paradise. I want to be in paradise, and you can't get there. And it's like we always will try to get there. So it's stuff like that where I kind of think, oh, that would be super fun to do.
That's great.
I even in like high school when we were talking about like Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah.
If you ever read that book?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like,
cool readings and shit.
Book
Yeah.
ever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That book is where we are at right now as like a civilization. Like low key, like we're all there. And in the very end, it sums up like who we are as people too, and like what we need. And it's like truth, morals, censorship, all of it. How we take in knowledge, how we express knowledge, all of it. I was like, that's kind of what my new season's going to be about.
Yeah.
Like the overall fact of emotion. So I don't know. It's like stuff like that. I take a bunch, but I'm pretty nitpicky about, what I hear. And then I'll take it and like digest it and write about a lot of it. So
wow. Would you say that Calvary played a part in any of your creation in any of this, or no?
I think, yeah. I mean, the only reason I actually did this was because it started at Calvary.
Yeah.
So, the problem was nobody saw what I was trying to do. So, I created it and at Calvary because this one girl was talking to me in like some marine biology class, and she's like, "Yeah, I made a clothing brand, and it's called like Simply Something," and it was like a picture of a pineapple, and I was like I was just mad. I was like, you buy a pineapple. I know I can do something better, right?
100%.
And so when you see that, everybody's like, "Oh, I have a better business idea," but they just never do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so there goes that competitive, drive. And I was like, I'm gonna make something, but I'm gonna make something for my whole entire school to wear because we were all upset with dress code.
Okay.
So that's solely the reason.
I was going to say, how does that affect like? How do you become a fashion designer when you're so precedented on the fact of wearing the same clothes every single day?
Yeah, it's the same stuff, and you're like, everybody wants to wear something different, and everybody's like complaining about it. And I was like, I'll be the one to fix it, right? And so that was literally what that caused it. And because of my teachers, my art teachers, I was able to make it into a club, but it wasn't a club.
Okay.
And so I kind of like finagled my way into talking with the head guy, the principal, and I was like, "Yo, you gotta let me like sell these shirts, and I'll give all the money back to the school.
Okay.
Like I won't take a dime, like at all.
Yeah.
Just let me sell the stuff, get you guys like whatever you need, and then boom." And what's super funny is like, I think I made $1,000 in like 3 days.
Okay, sweet.
And I was like, "Oh shoot, like
that's great,
right?" And this is just my idea, but my idea has some type of relevance in this community or in this culture.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what pushed it. And then I stopped because the whole idea of, is to bring other artists along and collaborate with people and express just in a completely different way. And so I took a break, kind of rethought everything. It's a lot.
Where does that brand name come from? Okay, like what does that really stem from?
It's just a common word.
It's great. Like it's so common, but at the same time, it's like catchy because the B instead of the A. So it's
I think dope. when you look at it, everybody goes OKVY, right? This is the biggest joke. Like they'll look at it and they're like, "I hate it," because I've had tons of people argue with me about why it needs to be just an A.
Okay.
But when I drew it up as an A, it didn't look good design wise.
Yeah.
And the reason it didn't look good design wise, and this is a personal preference, is because it didn't cause disruption.
Okay.
And so if you're a brand, you want to be able to make a wave, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can cause disruption, but in a positive way, that's perfect. And if they can remember what you put out, that's perfect. And that's what that V does. It creates that separation, but it also creates that memorability that you're not going to forget it. Because now everybody knows OKVY, and they're going to know when I tell them, "Hey, it's just an A, and I just flipped it." And they go, "Oh, okay." And then it's like, "Oh, wait, yeah, that's what it's called." And like,
yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like this big running joke. And so, yeah, like honestly why I made it. And I was like, it's probably the stupidest thing I've come up with, right?
But probably one of the best things also.
Yeah, it's gonna be catchy. So yeah.
So when it comes to your brand, I know you have sort of like that nostalgic vibe to it, where everything is like it has this cool aesthetic to it. But how did you come up with the aesthetic? Like, in what ways were you like, okay, I want it to look like this, you know?
It's funny because we were like, I was talking about somebody about that, and I was like, do I want to push more into the future, right, or do I want to push more into like the past? And I think I got really inspired by how, you know, Nike and Adidas does their stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So Nike's more of a futuristic company, and then you have Adidas, which is very nostalgic at a lot of points, where they were never able to let go of this old design for the longest time, but now this old design is like the future. Everybody wears this old design. So I wanted to kind of create something like that where, you know, somebody like 40 years old is going to look at it and they're going to be like, wow, that's a really old, stupid looking photo. But it looks so cool. And I feel this nostalgic taste. And then there's somebody super young and they're like, well, that's kind of relevant because I've been seeing this plastered all over the place. And so it's very like strategic, right down to like the grain, the tones, kind of how I take the pictures too. Cause like everything I direct all of it. So I'm taking the photos and I'm literally taking photos on my iPhone. Like I don't have a nice camera.
So all the photos on your Instagram are taken off that.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The last this new season, we're trying to create like a magazine right now. And that's basically all disposables. Mm. So like I saw like David Dobrik like do his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is fun. But I was playing with Polaroids before I even saw Dobrik's stuff. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna delete my whole entire Instagram because this idea of we have to have this perfect tight HD photo is killing me, right? Okay, and I want to make something dirty, messy that shows the process. And so I think that's what communicates it a little bit better. And pictures speak 1,000 words. So it's just that's kind of my thought process behind it. But
so how would you say? So you're not necessarily staying up to date on things, you know? But like, how would you say you stay up to date when it comes to fashion and just like knowing what's in and what's not? Or is it more a sense of what you like and what you don't?
No, I don't. So I like a lot of stuff, right? In fashion, I'll be looking at it. Yeah. And a lot of it's like, I can't buy it. It's too expensive. Or it's like, I just don't want to spend the money. Yeah. But it looks amazing, right? And so for me, it's like, what's something that's not that middle ground, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it goes back to the conversation, right? And it goes back to how you can watch somebody. Like, I'll watch you, and I'll be like, all right, he really likes zip-ups, or he really likes these like crew necks. I look at your Instagram, and I'll be like, he doesn't like V-necks, so I'm not going to give him V-necks. Yeah. But he'll wear tank tops. So I'll study your type of people, or I'll study groups of people just by literally, I'll stock pages. I'll be on Instagram and be like, all right, so she likes crop tops. But why does she like crop tops? Is it because it's like comfortable? Is it because she wants to look good? She wants to show her physique? Like, what is this? And then I'll be scrolling down. I'm like, no, it's more of a style thing because you can see from this point, she starts going, it's going to keep on going up. So it's a forecast type of deal where you have to kind of pinpoint what people want and then what people don't even know what they want, and you got to give it to them. And so it's that weird, like, fortune teller type of deal where it's like, you got to break the cookie first and see what But, yeah.
What would you say your greatest strengths and weaknesses are when it comes to designing and then just real world in general?
Real world? Dude, I'm stubborn as heck.
Okay.
Yeah. If I could not be stubborn and a little bit less, like, yeah.
Like, stubborn towards what? Like, what are you specifically stubborn?
I think like my idea will always work. And sometimes that can kill you, and sometimes it's the best thing, right? Yeah. And sometimes you have to be a little humbled, and you'll figure it out, you know, when it doesn't work. Because there's been times where I'm so overconfident, I'm like, in what I can do, or something that I can't even do, and then I try it and I fail at it. Mm-hmm. But there's beauty in failure. So even though I did something that didn't work, and I was stubborn to the end, and it didn't pan out, I can still learn from those lessons. But I think stubborn is probably my biggest thing. Like, if I could work on that, I need to definitely work on it.
All right, what about strengths?
Yeah, strengths. I think I'm just a leader, dude. Like, I like to talk. I like to express myself. You know, I like to share my perspective on the world. And I think, you know, I'm not super like outspoken, right? Pretty quiet. But if I feel like the stuff that I do say can make a difference in the world I'm in. So I think that's what God has put me here for, and I feel like I can do it to the best of my ability. So
okay, sweet. Yeah. Would you consider yourself an extrovert or an introvert?
I'm an extrovert, but
okay.
I'm also like an introvert too, because there's days where I don't even talk to anybody, and people are like, "Does he even exist anymore?" You know?
okay. So most people see fashion designers and anyone just like locked up in a room, like trying to do it all day, not talking to anyone.
Yeah, I'm definitely like that though, because I do like to be alone, and I do like to just be by myself.
Yeah.
But I think that's valuable. I mean, all this started because I was on a farm. Like, I lived on a farm for 2 months.
Okay. So how was that?
I lived with, like, pigs. It sucked. But it was the best experience of my entire life. Because if you're a city kid, you don't know what hard work is, right? You get everything handed to you. But you go to grocery stores, you get a glass of milk, you get, you know, chicken, you get all this stuff. And then you go on a farm, and you see how spinach is made, how potatoes are made, how you have to kill something to get what you want.
Yeah.
And it's not just handed to you. And so... I lived on a farm with actually a bunch of drug addicts.
Okay.
So
how would you say that shaped your experience though? Like, living on a farm is crazy as it is. Like, to have to adjust to that society already is just a whole different norm.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there was like these days where they wouldn't let you work because they consider like the Sabbath or whatever, like a Sunday, like a no work day, but where you just need to rest. So for 24 hours, bro, like, you're not doing anything. And like, imagine it. You're not touching your phone, not reading anything. You just do nothing.
It's pretty much like a monastery at that point.
Yeah. So you get a lot of time to like think to yourself. And that's what's wild about it. And, you know, when I was there, that's how I came up with how I'm going to rebuild OK, why my name is Micky Brown, all that type of stuff. And
Wow.
Crazy.
So what was there like a specific reason for moving out to a farm, or was it just like your family moved out there, or it was
my whole family goes on like trips every summer, right?
Okay.
And so they gave me an option to go to like El Salvador or somewhere else, and I was like, well, I want to be able to speak the language, so that's the only reason I lived on a farm. But I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought I was just gonna be like, you know, taking care of land and like doing dirty work, but it was way more than that, because I was basically sent to like a rehab center, even though I've never done that type of stuff in my entire life. But you get to watch these people, right? And I think it creates like this sobering experience for me. And even if you're there, if you ever get a chance, right, to see somebody who just was close to ODing, right, thin as bones, walking up to you and saying, bro, like, this is how my life could have been taken, but because of this is why I'm here, and like I get a second chance. And that makes you, you know, work harder. You have a different type of mentality. You have a different type of goal. And so I've seen people like this like all the time, and now there's not an excuse not to work hard. 100%. There's no excuse to like quit ever. It's this drive and passion that, you know, you see other people now that kind of gave it all up to do something else, and it's like, why would you sacrifice that? Work your butt off and try to get back up on your feet. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you fall. Just keep getting back up. So,
what would you say to the average person who works a 9-to-5 job and just did that because they didn't want to do something else with their life?
So there's no excuse.
I
work at a restaurant. I work as a freelance artist for like companies all over the world. I also do fashion, and then I also do like shoes on the side. So I got like 4 jobs. So and I work that 9 to 5. So and I have full-time school. So it's like this idea of you don't stop just because you want to go play Fortnite, or you want to go like do something else, like every time, or you want to go drink Starbucks. If you want to go drink Starbucks and you say that you're unhappy with how your life is and how much money you don't have, go check your bills and go
Yeah,
check
fact.
how much
So
like how
that
much you're
$5
wasting,
coffee.
Yeah, right. And it's
Oh shit.
this mentality that we've all had as a generation, right, is controlling us. Where we like to spend because we like to spend, and we like to look good because that's what society wants us to do. But that's not always the case. Like if you back up and if you want to be successful, you're gonna do what you want to do to be successful. And some people just don't want to do it. There's so many people that come up to me, right, and they're like, "I want to do what you do," and then I'm just asking, then just do it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing stopping you. Like there's nothing stopping me from doing something else. Like I want to do music, and I don't know anything about music, right? I had piano lessons when I was like 8.
Yeah.
And now I'm like going back into music, and all I do is YouTube stuff. Literally, YouTube is the digital library of this generation. And you're giving me excuses on why you can't learn about all this type of stuff. Like I've learned about how to do fashion because of YouTube. Like I never went to college for it. So it's
how would you talk to somebody? Because I always tell everyone that like in order to truly be successful, you kind of have to have a moment where your back is against the wall. But like for you, did you ever have that moment where like your back was against the wall and like you didn't know what you were gonna do at that moment? You know?
Yeah. So I was in like a relationship for like 4.5 years, right?
Yeah.
And like the goal was to buy a ring, to get married, have a house, I had all this stuff planned.
100%.
And that broke off, and it kind of put me in a spiral because all the stuff that happened caused me to figure out, like, I was questioning who I was, because for 4.5 years, that's your identity, right? If you're ever in a relationship for however long, you're only known by that. That's kind of how it happens. And so for me, I was like, I do a lot of cool stuff, but I couldn't bring myself to break out of the poor me mentality. And so I was reading somewhere, there's this verse, because everything I do has this biblical undertone. I love it. But there's this verse that basically says to the Israelites, right, who are kind of walking in the desert, they're always slaves, right? And everybody's like, what the heck? The leader of that tribe, his name's Joshua, and God tells Joshua, it's like, what are you doing walking around the promised land? Like, you've walked around this land for so long, and all you have to do is take a step in it. And that's it. Yeah. And like, nobody does it. And the thing is, they walk around it the whole entire time. And so for me, I was like, I've been doing the same thing, right? I've been walking around my passions, my gifts, my callings, and who I am as a person because of something else. And I can walk into the promised land. I just got to take the risk and step into it. And because of that broken relationship, because of friendships being like broken and stuff like that, that pushed me into a scenario where, I took that risk because there was nothing else to like sacrifice. It was just me, myself, and I just got to figure out, how am I going to, do this? How am I going to glorify the person who created me? How am I going to, make something better out of the situation that I was previously in? And this is how I'm going to do it. And so, that's kind of,
What would you say to anyone who's aspiring to get into what you're doing? So whether it be fashion designing, whether it be directing of any sort of creative aspect.
I think college is overrated.
Facts, okay. We all been there.
Explore for especially creatives, because you're gonna be spending like a lot of money, right? But
who do you think should go to college? Like, what sort of people?
The lawyers. I think the lawyers, the doctors, you obviously need it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you're a creative, why? Like, it's basically up to you.
Yeah.
Like, no one says your degree is gonna get you what you want. I mean, if you want to work a graphic design job and it's required, go for it. Yeah. But if you want to try to do something different, it's like, you can have that degree as a backup, right? But in the end, Virgil Abloh's, the Kanye West, they never had degrees in this stuff. They just went for it because it's all about what other people like. It's not about what your teachers like. It's not about what the diploma says that you got. Yeah. So for being a doctor or being someone that's like a business or, like a stocks type of person, like, you probably should do it because you need that type of education to educate yourself and know what you need to do. But if it's something so like, like as an artist, is truly up to you and how you think outside the box. It can't be what somebody else dictates for you. And so for artists, they kind of just need to be able to think like, oh, we can move out. But if you want to be a teacher, somebody that's trying to educate the youth, get that education, because you want to be able to educate somebody and not look like a fool when you're doing it. So
yeah, 100%. Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's like I don't want to go to a doctor's office and her like, yeah, I only went to high school.
Yeah. Could you say that you learned something from school? Like, do you still think that there's things that you've picked out, even though school may not necessarily be the best route?
I think, all the way up to high school is super important for me because it taught me not to give up.
Yeah.
Because everybody has classes where they're like, I'm failing. Everybody's like, no, like, this is terrible, right? But it's that idea of like, you want to strive to just get there. And I think, school does that in a great way. And I think school also helps you build like your social network and how you want to talk to people. And it creates this like, kind of, I don't know, like this thing that binds people and fabricates people to like understanding each other, because it's not just you. So everybody's kind of struggling towards the same thing. And then that gives you like a deeper sense for like humanity. You get to feel that in some type of way. So
for you as someone who's in a great position right now, where would you see yourself 10 years from now? And like, what do you think you would be doing? Like, do you still think okay would be your main priority? Do you think you'll have a different idea in your head? Like,
yeah, my aunt just asked me that like a while ago. Like,
yeah. I mean, everyone has to ask it.
Yeah, it's weird because this is my vision, right? But it's not mine.
Okay.
The vision is like never been mine, and to say that I'll know what my destination is in the next 10 years is
nobody knows.
Nobody knows. You don't know what you're going to be able to do tomorrow, right? Like, time is short, but time it can also be long for you. So there's nothing to describe like what my career or what my life will hold for me, because I only know today, and I barely know today. I just know the next minute that's in front of me. Like, that's it. But I know that whatever it is, whatever I get blessed with the ability to do, I'm going to try to go forward with whatever I got. So if okay lasts longer than, 5 to 10 years and it becomes something huge, let's go for it. There's a lot of goals that I want to meet. Like, I want to make albums. I want to make shows. I want to touch every freaking creative field there is and get my hands on it and make it the best thing you've ever seen. Like, my idea is to inspire, like my end goal as personal would probably be to inspire 1 million people, but inspire people for the right reasons, not to depress people, not to make people feel like they can't do it, but to inspire people to move forward, to be happy, to be okay with who they are, and to push for the best that they can be. So I think if I go with that mindset, and it's even not part of a business and it's just part of my personal life, I'm in a good position in 10 years. So
Hell yes. So in this podcast, we were doing 2 segments, actually 3 segments. The first segment is, if you were to live the best day of your life, what is that day? Like,
best day of my life.
Anything on this planet Earth is given to you, but you get to choose what it is.
I want to create with all the people that I've looked up to. So like the Jean-Michel Basquiat's, the Warhols, the Jay-Z's, the Kanye's, the Lecrae's, the Andy Mineos. I want everybody in one room, and I want it to look like a juggernaut of a project, right? So like, literally just kill something, and literally everybody's gonna be like, "What the heck?" Like, I didn't know that was possible. Like, that would be so sick if you're with Walt Disney, right? And you get to make your own thing. So sick. I don't care about the cars or any of the crap. I get to be in a room with people and be like so satisfied.
Yeah.
So.
Sweet. All right. Second one. If you're trapped on an island, what do you bring in? Your top 3.
Oh gosh. Top 3?
You got 3 items that you can bring on this planet Earth. What are you gonna take with you to a private island? There's no one else there, just you.
Passport.
Okay.
My MacBook. and iPhone.
Okay.
That's all I need.
And I mean, you pretty much answered the last one, but it was talking about what people would you like to hang out with or create with, dead or alive, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And for what reason, though? Like, if you had to name your top three.
Top three?
Yeah.
God.
That's it.
That's a good one.
Honestly, I asked you a few of these questions. I have no idea.
Really?
Like, not even a clue who I was.
Gosh, okay, so
you could even give me a top five.
Okay.
Because top three is hard.
I'll do top three, and then I'll
okay.
Keep going. But if there was a top three, I would want to meet. Gosh, I probably want to meet Frank Ocean.
Okay.
I want to meet Kanye West, and I probably would want to meet like a Steve Jobs or Walt Disney.
Yeah.
They would be tied. And then I would meet like Jean-Michel Basquiat, and then I think another great person that would be really fun to meet would probably be Bob Ross. I don't know why. But
okay.
It would just be wild. Like, I just want to see his pro. I think that's probably the only reason. And just like,
I mean, he's dope. So
he feels like such a happy person. So yeah. Or maybe if it's not Bob Ross, then it's like Mr. Robinson or something like that.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we wrap this thing up, is there anything you would like to say to anyone listening?
I believe that everybody has the potential to do great things. I really do. I think, we don't give ourselves enough credit. And I encourage the people that are like listening to this to do something that you haven't done and experience something that isn't fond of or somebody's not going to like, but you do it because you feel called to do it and you feel like it's a God-given gift. If you don't see a reason to wake up in the morning, you just gotta wake up and just try something, and it'll work itself out. It's a domino effect. Okay. I feel like people just need to hear that. So
also, would you like to plug any social media right
now? Yeah, it's OKVY _ That's the official brand.
Okay.
We got a drop on the 23rd of August, and then
what should they be looking out for?
Yeah.
What type of clothing are they going to be looking out for?
Gosh, I mean, I don't want to be like Chance the Rapper, right? And just like hype up something that's not.
Yeah, I
think I just want people to see it. Like, if you look at the brand, look at the details. That's it. That's all I want you to do. And like, if you're looking at something, question it. Question it. Don't just look at it and say it looks cool. But question why you want to wear that product. Question the story. Understand what you want to get out of it, because I think that's what makes the brand more powerful. So if you're just wearing something because it just has a check on it, but you don't know why you want to just do it, then don't do it. But if you look at my brand, I feel like there's gonna be a little nugget of truth that you want to hear. So I hope that people can see that and understand it. And yeah, and August 27th we have a fashion show at Ramp 48. If you want to show up. It's going to be crazy.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So. All right, sweet. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This podcast will be available on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and I think that's pretty much it. But, yeah, thank you so much, Jackson, for coming on, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.
Thank you, bro.